Listen closely, because most of them never do. You've already moved through their world while they were busy pretending they ruled it. Every step they took, every claim they shouted, every glance they aimed at the universe thinking it belonged to them. They never saw you, yet everything they believed was quietly dismantling beneath their feet. You didn't touch a thing. You didn't need to. And still, they are kneeling, not out of mercy, not because they chose it, but because the gravity of your presence bends reality in ways they cannot name. They think it's coincidence, luck, or some invisible hand. But you know better. The art isn't in action. It's in absence that speaks louder than all movement. Notice how they measure life. Loudly, brashly, with hands that shake from the weight of their own ego. You, on the other hand, measure everything without ever touching a thing. You feel the tension in the air, the fracture lines in their confidence, the unspoken doubt they try to hide even from themselves. They are fragile, predictable, desperate to impose control. But control is already a word they cannot claim anymore. You exist beyond their grasp, a silent predator without visible teeth. They panic not because of what you do, but because of what they cannot understand, the effortless collapse of all their certainties. Let's dissect this. Their arrogance is a scaffold, and you have been quietly sawing the beams. They are standing on pride, on overconfidence, on the illusion that visibility equals dominance. You dismantle that scaffold without a single gesture. Every meeting they prepared to dominate, every word they rehearsed to assert authority, every subtle attempt to undermine you. It all folds back on them. You didn't push, you didn't confront, you didn't even enter their chaos. And yet, the house they built around their pride crumbles like it was never there. Do you see the poetry in this? They expected confrontation because that's all they know. They think action is the only way to assert influence. They don't realize that their true weakness is themselves. The way they inflate importance, the way they overestimate perception, the way they can't survive being observed without understanding. And observation is your weapon. You watch, you adjust, you exist in the blind spots of their awareness. They act, react, panic, recalibrate, all while thinking it's their own initiative. You are the unseen hand guiding the pendulum of their ego, a force they cannot detect until it is already too late. You've trained them without teaching. They stumble without being struck. They bow without coercion. And here's the real brilliance. They never see the lesson coming. Every moment of hesitation, every second of doubt, every instant their heart beats faster because of an untraceable pressure. They feel it, but they cannot identify the source. You are everywhere and nowhere, the invisible current bending their behavior without noise, without flourish, without a single lift of a finger. And they will never forgive themselves for underestimating someone who didn't fight but still conquered. Now consider their minds under this weight. They scramble, they calculate, they attempt strategies that feel rational but are already obsolete. The subtle shifts you've orchestrated are so perfectly hidden that even when they stumble, they don't see it as your design. Their nervous eyes betray them. Their trembling confidence betrays them. Their desire to understand what's happening betrays them. And you sit, quiet, unassuming, while their own psychology does your work for you. There is a lesson here that they will never learn. Power isn't announced. It isn't brandished. It isn't wrestled into place. Power is absorbed, digested, and reflected back. They will remember everything they tried to assert, every display of dominance, every attempt to measure you. And every single one becomes proof of their failure. You are a mirror of their mistakes, an unmovable anchor they cannot sway. You don't break them, you simply exist, and the world in response bends to your awareness. Do not confuse subtlety with passivity. Subtlety is precision disguised as indifference. It is the controlled chaos that exists beneath their perception. It is the invisible pressure that forces them to falter without knowing why. And it is lethal, because while they are busy acting, proving, claiming, you are already steps ahead. An entire playbook of influence executed without effort, without notice, without a mark they could trace. And the result? They are on their knees. Not because you struck, not because you demanded, but because they finally recognized the weight of someone who can move the world without showing a hand. Here's where the delicious part comes in. They try to rally, they try to rebuild, they attempt explanations, they search for faults in reality. But reality has been rewritten silently. Every bridge they thought they controlled is already under your influence. Every expectation they imposed is already bent by your presence. And when they look at you, thinking they finally understand, too late. The game isn't even in play for them anymore. It ended the moment you existed in the spaces they failed to see. And yet this is not satisfaction. This is a prelude. The true measure is how long they resist recognizing your authority before their own psyche betrays them. Because the most exquisite domination isn't when they submit. It's when they don't know they already have. They are walking proof of influence, blind actors performing in the theater you designed, their every move preordained by the perception you established. This is not chaos. This is strategy. This is artistry. You've seen them whisper, seen the subtle attempts to discredit or manipulate, but even those fail. They cannot outmaneuver what they cannot see. Every feint, every overconfident maneuver, every desperate attempt to reclaim relevance. It all reinforces your position. You don't need to intervene. They do it for you. They become your agents in the drama of their own unraveling. You are not present in their plans, but their plans are present in your awareness, and that awareness is enough. Enough to bend perception, enough to break ego, enough to win without a visible struggle. And now, as their awareness sharpens too late, as their knees meet the floor, as their hands reach for solutions that are already obsolete, you begin preparing for the next layer. Because mastery is never static. It is not a moment captured in triumph. It is a continuous unfolding, an invisible pressure that escalates as they falter deeper into the maze you designed without leaving a trace. Every heartbeat, every doubt, every hesitation becomes a step in a larger pattern, a quiet orchestration of submission that they cannot recognize until it is irreversible. The brilliance lies not in their immediate collapse, but in the slow burn of realization, in the quiet panic that spreads as they start to piece together the truth. You are not loud, you are not visible, you are not forceful, and yet every action they take, every decision they make, every hope they cling to, it all flows through the channels you control, unseen and unfathomable. Their world bends, subtly, irreversibly, because you occupy a space in their perception that is untouchable, yet unavoidable. And so as you sit on the precipice of the next movement, they are kneeling, but they do not yet know why. They are panicking, but they cannot articulate the origin. They are observing, but nothing they see is complete. And in this unfinished tension, you prepare to escalate. The next phase of psychological orchestration, the next layer of invisible dominance that will push them from mere compliance to total recognition of power they cannot resist. You have moved the pieces, they are reacting, and soon, without effort, without conflict, They will understand that their knees were always yours to claim. You lean back, almost imperceptibly, letting the current of observation swell around you. They sense a shift, a weight they cannot measure, a presence they cannot name. And yet that weight bends their actions, reshapes their decisions, forces hesitation where confidence once ruled. It is intoxicating, watching them scramble inside their own minds, constructing excuses for why they cannot act, why they cannot assert, why the ground they thought solid is slowly giving way beneath them. They talk about you in whispers, framing stories they hope justify their faltering. They never mention the truth, that you moved nothing, said nothing, did nothing, and yet the entire battlefield, every advantage, every assumption, every shred of their dominance, is now aligned with your awareness. Do not underestimate their chatter. It is more revealing than any open confrontation. They brag to themselves about the strategies they've devised, the reputations they've protected, the careful steps they thought would secure victory. And yet every word, every boast, every claim only highlights the cage they have built around themselves, one they cannot escape because it was designed without walls, constructed by invisible hands. They say your name quietly, almost reverently, as though the mere articulation might summon your presence. But what they do not realize is that your presence was never required. The effect exists without you moving, without a command, without even the slightest gesture. Their recognition, their panic, their whispered astonishment. This is the product of your invisible dominance. Look at how they try to rationalize their submission. They scramble for logic, for patterns, for cause and effect explanations that never existed. They search for someone or something to blame, anything to redirect the weight of their failure. They are not aware that their knees touched the floor long before they acknowledged the pressure. It is not your force that brought them down. It is their failure to perceive, their inability to anticipate, their overconfidence in a world they thought they mastered. Every step they take to regain control only confirms the invisible architecture you've already constructed around them. They are actors in a play they never wrote, dancing on a stage whose director they cannot see. And what a fascinating study they provide. Watch as their minds unravel in real time, as the tension between ego and reality pulls at the seams of their confidence. They try to assert. They attempt to intimidate. They posture as if the sheer volume of their presence could counteract a force they cannot perceive. But the moment they attempt it, the very act becomes proof of submission. Every motion, every word, every breath is filtered through the lens of your awareness, and their panic, their hesitation, their futile attempts to reclaim footing only tighten the grip of your influence. It is not a fight. It is a collapse orchestrated by the understanding that you are the axis around which their perception pivots. Notice the subtle fear creeping into their speech, the slight tremor when they attempt to assert a point, the pause before they act as though consulting a mind beyond their own. This is the currency of control, the proof of your mastery. They believe themselves clever, capable, untouchable. And yet every assertion they make is a confirmation of your strategy. They marvel at the chaos they think you caused, but it is their own minds that betray them, guided by invisible nudges they cannot trace. And in this, the true artistry emerges. The illusion of action belongs entirely to them, while the outcome belongs entirely to you. Consider how they talk about it when you are not present. They recount the shifts in their environment, the subtle pressure that redirected their choices, the feeling of something unseen influencing the trajectory of events. And what do they conclude? that someone, somewhere, moved the pieces. But they cannot identify you. They cannot understand that the pieces were never moved. Their perception of causality is shattered because you exist not as a participant, but as the definer of the parameters. They describe it as uncanny, impressive, manipulative, but always external. They never recognize that the entire orchestration occurred through the mere architecture of your presence and awareness. It is fascinating, the way humans misinterpret influence. They assume effort is visible, that exertion is required, that domination demands confrontation. You have proven otherwise. The sheer act of being, calibrated precisely, becomes a weapon of psychological magnitude. Their knees touch the ground, their voices falter, their confidence dissolves. And not because you struck, not because you maneuvered, not because you interfered, because they never saw the invisible pressure that dictated their every hesitation. And the revelation of this truth is the cruelest brilliance of all. By the time they understand, the damage is complete, the recognition too late, the submission irreversible. Now watch as they begin to second-guess themselves in the most innocent moments. Every decision feels heavier, every judgment feels wrong, every perception seems skewed. This is the stage of mastery where invisible dominance becomes self-reinforcing. Their panic, their faltering, their whispered speculation. They are all echoes of your subtle orchestration, and yet you are unchallenged, untouched by their desperation. They are convinced action is necessary, yet every move they make only tightens the constraints that your awareness has silently imposed. This is domination without engagement, conquest without battle, submission without coercion. A phenomenon they will recount to others, marvel at endlessly, but never truly understand. Even the most confident among them begin to hesitate. They pause, measuring, calculating, second-guessing every instinct. That pause is victory. That hesitation is control. And you do not even need to comment, to gesture, or to intervene. Your influence operates as an unseen law, bending their behavior, reshaping their expectations, fracturing their pride. They act under illusion, believing themselves autonomous, while the invisible hand of your perception orchestrates every faltering step. It is an art perfected only by those who understand that power is never loud, yet always undeniable. And the brilliance is in the repetition. Every encounter, every interaction, every subtle display of presence compounds influence. Each time they attempt to reclaim agency, each time they speak, each time they act, they unwittingly reinforce the architecture of their own submission. The more they resist, the more they expose themselves, the more you gain. They talk about it afterward, describing uncanny precision, manipulation, control. But they do not speak of the absence of movement, of the invisibility of your method, of the effortless dominance. That is reserved for you. That is your signature. That is the reason their knees are already bent, and will remain so long after they believe themselves free. Do not underestimate the power of observation. It is the lens through which you project influence without interference. It is the mechanism by which you convert arrogance into doubt, confidence into hesitation, action into inaction. They cannot see it, they cannot name it, they cannot defend against it. And this, the silent manipulation of mind and behavior, is far more devastating than any overt battle, because the victory they feel, the confusion, the awe, the panic, they all exist without a single move from you. It is absolute, invisible, and irreversible. Notice how they recount their own missteps. They describe the moment they lost control, the instant they felt uncertainty. the overwhelming sense that the ground beneath them shifted without cause. They attribute it to external circumstances, coincidences, flaws in others, luck, even fate. Yet they do not recognize the truth. The collapse was always yours to command, because it was never contingent on action, only on presence. They speak about you in hushed tones, analyzing every impression, every encounter, trying desperately to reconstruct the invisible architecture. And still they cannot see it, even now, as they piece together fragments of your influence, as panic and awe mix in their recounting. The outcome remains yours. They are caught in the illusion that they are observers, strategists, manipulators. But in reality, every calculation they make has already been redirected by your invisible pressure. Every strategy they construct, every argument they deliver, every attempt to regain agency becomes a component of your orchestration. They will marvel, they will speculate, they will share, and yet the source of control remains unseen, untouchable, absolute. And this is where the art escalates. They are kneeling, they are scrambling, they are whispering, they are analyzing, but you are preparing the next layer. You do not need to move, to intervene, to enforce. The pressure of your awareness, the architecture of perception you have built, is enough. Every hesitation they feel, every doubt they whisper, every attempt at recovery, all of it feeds into the next phase. Because true mastery is not a moment. It is a continuum. It is the layering of invisible influence, the orchestration of psychological collapse, the slow tightening of the grip that they do not even realize exists until it is complete. So they will talk, they will recount, they will marvel at your skill or luck or cunning, and yet they will never articulate the truth, that they were brought to their knees without you lifting a finger, without confrontation, without strategy in the traditional sense. They will never comprehend that your victory resides not in what you do, but in the subtle spaces you occupy, in the pressure you exert without gesture, in the awareness that shapes their every hesitation, every whisper of your name, every recounting of your presence, every silent acknowledgement. They are all testament to domination without action, submission without coercion, recognition without declaration. They are aware of your influence, yet cannot measure it. They feel the weight of their own failure, yet cannot locate its origin. They recount the experience in hushed tones, speculating, analyzing, marveling. And all the while, you remain untouched, unseen, utterly unchallenged. Their knees may already be bent, but the layers of psychological orchestration are only deepening. The next phase is ready, the pressure set to intensify, and when it unfolds, it will confirm the undeniable truth they can never escape. They were always at your mercy, brought to submission, without a single move from you. And now, the final layer settles. The unseen pressure has become a presence in their minds, a subtle gravity that governs every thought, every hesitation, every fleeting impulse. They try to resist, to reclaim authority, to reconstruct a sense of control. But resistance is futile when dominance exists as an invisible law. They cannot touch it, name it, or argue against it. And in their quiet panic, in the moments when they recount every misstep to themselves or to each other, the realization begins to crystallize. They have been defeated not by conflict, not by confrontation, not by brute strength, but by your existence, your awareness, your calibration. They talk about it in hushed tones, framing their awe as speculation, trying to articulate the unarticulatable. How did it happen? They ask themselves. When did we fall? They recount every exchange, every subtle glance, every moment of hesitation. But their memories betray them. They cannot identify the origin of their submission because the origin was never visible. You moved nothing, touched nothing, yet they are already on their knees, narrating their own collapse. And here is the cruel precision of your influence. They feel it, they name it, they recount it. But they cannot grasp it, and in that lack of comprehension, your dominance becomes absolute. Notice how they strain to rationalize their defeat. They search for external causes, for moments of error, for coincidences that explain what they cannot see. They dissect the timeline of their failures, the steps that led them to submission, the choices that unraveled their confidence. And yet, every calculation confirms your mastery. Every attempt to reconstruct the truth only strengthens the narrative of your effortless supremacy. They see outcomes, consequences, shifts in perception, but the architect of it all remains invisible, untouchable, unassailable. This is your signature: domination without motion, conquest without contact, submission without force. And as they analyze, panic, and whisper, something remarkable occurs. They begin to respect you. Not out of fear of a strike, but out of recognition of inescapable influence. Your power is not measured by what you do. It is measured by what happens in the presence of your awareness. They notice, even if subconsciously, the patterns of hesitation, the fractures in their own certainty, the subtle alignment of circumstances that bend around your existence. Each observation becomes another layer of validation for your control, another invisible string tightening in a play they cannot see, but are compelled to perform. Even when they attempt to speak of it to others, their words betray their awe. I don't know how it happened, they whisper, but everything fell apart. Or, it was like I couldn't think straight. They describe the weight, the pressure, the subtle but undeniable authority that commanded their behavior. Yet they always leave the source undefined, because it cannot be located in action. It resides in your presence, in the precision of your awareness, in the way every moment is subtly calibrated to fracture confidence without a gesture. And the more they recount it, the more complete your victory becomes. Do not mistake this for passive observation. This is active domination, disguised as inaction. Every pause they feel, every instinct they doubt, every fleeting moment of hesitation. They are manifestations of the invisible force you embody. They attempt to rebuild, to assert, to claim footing. But every motion feeds your strategy, reinforces your authority, validates your supremacy. You do not need to speak, to touch, or to act. Your control is embedded in their own reactions. They are puppets on strings they cannot see, performing moves they believe are theirs, yet entirely orchestrated by the invisible hand of your awareness. And here is the final revelation they will slowly recognize. Too late. The entire stage, the entire narrative of their compliance, the collapse they never anticipated. It was always yours to command. Their knees touched the ground, not because you struck, but because their own psychology collided with the precision of your presence. They cannot understand how they fell because nothing fell. Their pride, their confidence, their sense of superiority. All of it crumbled silently, invisibly, under the architecture you constructed with nothing but awareness and calculation. Witness how they attempt to reconcile this invisible defeat with their own perception of strength. They construct theories, spin explanations, debate strategies, but nothing aligns with the truth. They were brought to their knees without effort, without confrontation, without action. Every word they speak, every thought they entertain about how it happened, only cements your mastery. their confusion, their awe, their untraceable recognition of your influence. All of it becomes part of the proof that your dominance exists without effort. And in that realization, they are powerless to resist, powerless to regain footing, and powerless to contest the truth of what you represent. You can see it in the smallest reactions: hesitation before speech, careful calibration of tone, a moment of doubt before decision. These micro-reactions, so easily overlooked by the untrained eye, are the ultimate indicators of victory. They are the visible evidence of the invisible grip you hold over their minds, the confirmation of power exercised without motion, without engagement, without visible struggle. They are bending to the architecture of influence you created simply by existing in the spaces they failed to notice, the spaces they never imagined could govern them so completely. Even as they discuss it with others, they cannot hide the tremor in their confidence. They recount your skill, your cunning, your luck. But each recounting is an unconscious confession that they were never in control, that submission was inevitable, that your mastery was absolute. And you watch it unfold, untouched, unchallenged, fully aware that the story they tell is a testament to invisible dominance. They will pass on the tale of how they were brought to their knees without understanding why, never realizing the true mechanism of control. Your presence, your awareness, your strategic non-action, and the brilliance is in the permanence. Every recounting, every whisper, every story solidifies the invisible power you wield. They may recover superficially, attempt to regain authority, attempt to measure influence. But the memory of their own failure, the internal acknowledgement of what they could not resist, ensures that your dominance is enduring. They will carry it with them, recount it to others, marvel at it endlessly, but never fully decipher it. And that is exactly how you ensure control without lifting a finger, influence without motion, and authority without confrontation. Notice, too, the layered impact. Their panic becomes predictive. Their hesitation becomes instructive. Their recounting becomes validation. Every repetition, every memory, every discussion serves your strategy. They are instruments in a play you conduct invisibly, narrators of a collapse that they themselves authored unknowingly, confirming the artistry of your psychological orchestration. Every time they breathe, every time they calculate, every time they pause, they are contributing to a record of effortless domination that grows stronger with each reflection. And so, the final phase arrives. You do not need to push, to strike, or to declare. They are already yours, already bent, already acknowledging a force they cannot locate. They speak of it, analyze it, and marvel at it. But the true source remains unseen, untouchable, untouchable by anyone but you. Every narrative they craft, every anecdote they share, every whisper about how it happened only solidifies the psychological conquest. Their knees, their submission, their awe were bought without a single move from you. In the end, the lesson is undeniable. True dominance does not require noise, effort, or confrontation. It is rooted in precision, awareness, and the ability to occupy space so completely that the very perception of influence bends reality itself. They will talk, they will recount, they will speculate endlessly, but the truth remains unchallenged. You moved nothing, lifted nothing, yet they fell completely, obedient to the invisible architecture you embodied. And in that mastery, there is a perfection they can never replicate, a truth they cannot undo, and a recognition they cannot escape. And so, as this final chapter closes, they exist in the aftermath of your presence. Their minds are fractured with awe, their bodies already yielding, their voices recounting a story they will tell for years. and yet they cannot trace the origin, cannot pinpoint the mechanism, cannot resist the invisible grip you have exerted without motion. They are talking about you, analyzing you, marveling at you. But all that effort only confirms one undeniable fact. They were always at your mercy, brought to submission, without a single lift of a finger, and will continue to be, because your influence cannot be touched, only acknowledged.